Hi there everyone, Coach Alexa here. Happy New Year. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about goals. So lots of people are getting in touch with me about their running goals at the moment, New Year's resolutions, spring marathons, all sorts. So I thought I'd give a little bit more detail about how to set good goals for you. If you've ever kind of worked in a corporate environment and had the whole annual review process, you're probably quite familiar with SMART goals. So SMART's a bit of an acronym, one word for each letter of the word SMART, so to give you a bit of guidance on how to set good goals. And that's a pretty good place to start for running goals as well. So I'm going to talk you through that a little bit. The first one is specific. So making sure that you can actually define when you've ticked that goal off. So instead of something like I will get faster, maybe define a time for a particular event or a minute per mile average that you'd like to achieve on a run. So something you can actually point to and go, yes, I've achieved that one. Measurable is another one. So how do you work out whether you've ticked it off? How can you measure your progress along the way to that goal? So it's kind of easy, I think, for a lot of running goals to be able to do that, because we tend to be a little focused on distances and times, and those are quite easy ones to measure, particularly with the plethora of GPS and tracking devices that are out there these days. The next one is achievable. Now this is quite an important one, and one I end up having quite a few conversations about with my runners. So with your life and your fitness and where you are at the moment, what is an achievable goal for you? So if for example this year is going to be really busy, you're maybe moving house, or you're expecting children, or you already have kids and it's the first year that they go to primary school or secondary school, or there's kind of big life events going on, and it's going to be quite hectic. Maybe you've got some sort of health things going on for you at the moment, but you've also got a goal to at some point run a 100-mile race. Maybe this year, with all of the stuff going on that is happening, is not the best time to plan a 100-mile race. So think about what actually kind of fits in with you and build in some contingency. That's really, really important. So life isn't predictable. Our bodies don't always respond in a linear manner to the training stress that we give them. You will inevitably come down with a cold or a bit of a tummy bug, so build in some good amount of time to make sure that that goal is still achievable. Make it relevant. So I think we're pretty good at that as runners. We're making sure that things are quite often time or distance based, and they're therefore completely relevant to our running. But you can have definitely other relevant running goals. So maybe you've noticed that you're not particularly flexible, and you could do with improving that. So setting yourself a goal of going to a yoga class once a week or twice a month might be another particularly relevant goal for running. And the final one is time bound. So making sure that you've, like I said earlier, given yourself enough time for the goal, but also picking out what might be a good step or process to get you to the goal you want to achieve. So at this time of year, I'm getting a lot of inquiries for marathon training plans, and it's got to the point now where for example the London Marathon, if people are only able to run around the 5k mark at the moment, then my advice in a lot of cases, unless they've got a lot of running experience behind them, that maybe this year's London Marathon isn't a great idea, particularly if they're going for a specific time. If they just want to get around with a walk run, then that's something I could potentially work with. So you've just got to make sure you give yourself enough time and enough contingency to build up. The other thing to think about is that it doesn't have to be distance or time-based goals for running. In fact, I'd encourage you to think about what are called intrinsic goals, so things that you aren't really able to necessarily kind of assess or compare yourself with others, or with yourself, or with a time, with a stopwatch. But build in some things that you can tick off and work towards, but are actually more just about you and your enjoyment. So that might be trying a new run route, or I've never run by the sea before, let's give that a go, or I might want to just try a park run in a different county, or a different one that I've never run before, not necessarily with a time goal in mind. So maybe think about weaving a few of those other goals in as well, mixing up the running a little bit, making sure that you tick off some things, have that sense of achievement, but not necessarily making it about beating yourself up over time and distance all the time. As always, I'm always happy to have a chat with any runners about helping them to set their goals and what I can do to help support them going forward. So if you feel that would be helpful, just give me a line. See you soon. Bye.